Hello, welcome to Stress, Trauma, and the Adolescent Brain. My name is Rita Rasuli, Prevention Coordinator with San Joaquin County Office of Education. After this video, you will be able to define the terms stress and trauma, understand the different types of stress and stress response, learn how stress and trauma impact brain development, understand the behaviors that are exhibited by the fight, flight, freeze, or fawn response, learn how chronic stress can impact adolescent behavior, understand culture and the impact on mental health, and learn how positive coping skills can be promoted by self-help strategies. First, I would like to define some key terms in this presentation. Stress is unavoidable. It is something that we deal with every day throughout all of our developmental stages. Stress is a response that is built into our bodies, which creates a rush of hormones. This response to potential danger is commonly called fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. The body doesn't know the difference between real or imagined danger, so the response is the same to any perceived danger. Stressors within our environments can vary by several factors, such as how often they occur, type, and the individual's age. The stressors a person has and the response to those stressors change during a person's lifetime. The Academy of Pediatrics reports that the physiological stress response, or how your body responds to stress, is key in understanding the physical, emotional, and behavioral implications of prolonged exposure to stress. Symptoms of stress depend on the type of stress a person may experience. Acute stress symptoms may include irritability, anxiety, sadness, headaches, and stomach ache. These symptoms are not long-term and may weaken or go away when the stress eases. Acute stress contributes to resilience and does not interfere with daily life. Episodic acute stress is a type of stress that can affect everyday life. This type of stress can affect relationships, school, and work. Episodic acute stress occurs more often, and there is a higher risk of unhealthy coping strategies such as drinking, overeating, and drug use. Chronic stress occurs from serious life problems such as poverty, war, or racism. This type of stress is grinding and can lead to higher risk of addiction and chronic health problems. In discussing stress response, it is important to note that we are talking about the stress response system's effects on the body, not the specific event or the experience itself. An individual's perception of danger varies and depends on each person's personal experiences. Positive stress response is a normal and necessary part of healthy development. This response is characterized by slight increases in heart rate and in hormone levels. Positive stress response is typically activated by events such as an upcoming test or a big important game. Tolerable stress response is the activation of the body's alert system to a greater degree, which is the result of more severe events such as natural disaster, frightening injury, or the loss of a loved one. Toxic stress response occurs when the child experiences prolonged adversity and the stressors occur frequently. Toxic stress is the result of adverse experiences such as physical, emotional, and sexual abuse, chronic neglect, and caregiver mental illness and/or substance use, economic hardship, and exposure to violence. This type of prolonged activation of the stress response, along with the absence of a healthy, supportive relationship with a trusted adult, can disrupt brain development, leading to greater risk of physical and emotional problems throughout the lifespan. An important part of healthy development for youth is learning to cope with adversity. If the stress response system is activated with an environment that includes trusted and supportive adults, the physiological effects are buffered and brought down. On the other hand, if the stress response is extreme and/or long-lasting and the supportive and trusted relationships are not there, the impact can be extremely damaging to the child's overall health. Healthy development can be hindered by excessive or prolonged activation of the stress response systems of the body. Toxic stress can have a negative impact on learning, behavior, and overall health throughout the individual's lifespan. When a person experiences a stressful event, the amygdala, the area of the brain that contributes to the processing of emotions, sends a distress signal to the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus is the area of the brain that communicates to the rest of the body through the autonomic nervous system, which controls involuntary bodily functions such as breathing, blood pressure, and heartbeat. This area of the brain is also managing hunger and thirst. When the signal is sent from the amygdala to the hypothalamus, the fight or flight response is triggered. The signals and changes to the body happen so quickly that the reaction to the perceived danger is faster than the brain's visual center's ability to fully process the event. The brain is very complex. In order to understand the brain's function in adolescent behavior, we'll focus on 3 areas of the brain. The brainstem is the area of the brain that controls regulatory functions such as body temperature, breathing, and heart rate. This part of the brain is reactive and cannot think or tell time. The limbic system is a collection of structures of the brain that are involved in memory and processing emotion. This brain system includes the hypothalamus and amygdala. The prefrontal cortex is one of the last areas of the brain to mature. Research has found that the average age of a fully developed brain is about 25. The prefrontal cortex is responsible for executive functioning skills. This area is important for decision-making, planning, and logical thinking. All input from our senses enter our brain first in the lower areas to process. The incoming signal is matched to previous experiences that are stored in our memory. The brain connects the different sensations from the sights, sounds, smells, and touches of our experiences, which allows us to start to make sense of the world. These connections become memories that we store, and when one of those familiar senses are experienced again, we recall the memory that the sensation is connected to. We also have emotional memories where an experience can trigger the emotion felt in the past. This would explain why some things that we sense can trigger a memory from our past. It could be a smell, a sound, sight, taste, or touch. Many times those memories could be comforting and nostalgic. For instance, hearing a particular song, the smell of cookies or fresh baked bread can elicit feelings. These feelings can be warm and sentimental. Other times, the memories could be frightening. The emotions that are induced could be fear or anxiety. When the current experience is connected to a traumatic event that happened in the past, the stress response is activated. Even if the experience is only vaguely similar, the brain processes it as a threat. For instance, eye contact may mean I care about you to one child, while it may mean I am about to yell at you to another child. The negative recollection will trigger the survival system to be activated, alerting the rest of the body of potential harm. This is what is referred to as fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. One thing to understand is that when the stress response is activated, the higher parts of the brain that can think shut down. The lower part of the brain, the survival system, is alerted. For example, when children have abusive mothers, their brains may begin to connect women with threat, anger, and fear. This might affect the child's response to females and begin to view them as dangerous. The mere presence of a female teacher can activate the threat response in the child's brain. Many youth are coming into the classroom under a great deal of stress. They may be experiencing stressful events such as hunger, fear, and anxiety because of their environment. As explained earlier, the brain is trying to survive. Learning is not able to happen. Some stress, such as in preparing for a test, dating, or a big game coming up, can be beneficial. This type of stress can help a young person gain skills that can be instrumental in healthy development. Some youth may be experiencing chronic stress that could result in a toxic stress response. Some sources of chronic stress include divorce, death of a loved one, family economic problems, unsafe living environment, living in high-crime neighborhood or community, bullying, abuse, or living with a family member with mental illness. Adolescents who have been exposed to repeated stress and trauma are at a higher risk for psychological challenges such as anxiety, depression, personality disorders, eating disorders, and behavior disorders. Chronic stress can be overwhelming and can lead to anxiety, aggression, withdrawal, or poor coping skills such as in alcohol or substance use. Prolonged stress can lead to long-term health problems such as heart disease, a weakened immune system, and mental health problems. We will focus on the immediate effects of toxic stress response. The physiological response to a potential threat can include faster heart rate, rapid breathing, increased blood to muscles of arms and legs, and upset stomach. It can be described as fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. This is a way that prepares the body to either confront or flee a threat. Let's look at what the fight, flight, freeze, and fawn trauma response looks like in adolescent behavior. Some youth may be exhibiting aggressive behaviors. These behaviors can be described as aggressive or challenging, argumentative, screaming or yelling, bullying, resistant, hyperactive, and challenging authority. The youth may also be experiencing upset stomach, the urge to cry, intense feelings of anger, the desire to stomp or kick, and grinding teeth and/or tight jaw. Students who are experiencing chronic stress may be easily triggered. Younger children may not be able to describe what they are feeling. Teens may become short-tempered and argumentative. The response could quickly lead to repeated aggressive behaviors, such as fighting. The flight response is a way to try and run away to avoid the threat or danger. These behaviors include being withdrawn, tired, avoidance, hiding, and being disengaged. Truancy is an issue with these students. Some may feel fidgety and/or restlessness. These students may be daydreaming, wandering, or fleeing the classroom. They want to do whatever it takes to avoid the threat. The freeze response and behavior could be numbness, delayed or no response, feeling disconnected, and blank facial expressions. They may be feeling like they are unable to move or act, and these students refuse to get their needs met. The fawn response is common among those who grow up in abusive families or environments. This response is a strategy to avoid getting in trouble, so to avoid the abuse. Children with a narcissistic parent may exhibit behaviors of the fawn response because they have been scared or shamed out of developing a healthy sense of self. These students are people pleasers, apologetic, they avoid saying how they feel, and are constantly meeting the needs of others rather than themselves. What can we do to help youth with their stress and trauma? Be patient with your student. Do not take their behavior personal. Remember that their actions are a reflection of their experiences and not about you. Be honest and open. If you are not able to help, find someone who can. Meet the needs of the individual. Every person's experiences are different, so their needs will be as well. Find community resources that could help the student, such as in local food banks, peer programs, counseling, or self-care strategies. Take the time to build trust. The brain is constantly changing because of new experiences. Healthy experiences can create more positive memories, which in turn can promote more positive and pro-social behaviors. Respect the student's personal beliefs. Culture has a significant impact on behavior and getting help. Culture impacts the way a person may want to talk about their home life. Mental health challenges are still highly stigmatized in many communities. Gender roles and how behavior is exhibited are influenced by a person's culture. Many families believe that it is not okay to discuss personal issues with people outside of the home. Some cultures believe in going to the community elders for help, while others believe in receiving counseling from clergy. Getting to know the youth and what beliefs they value will provide a great deal of success in finding the right help they may need. Protective factors are ways that help people learn positive life skills, such as coping skills, to find connectiveness with family and/or community, and to build self-esteem in order to be able to minimize mental distress. Some protective factors include coping and problem-solving skills, connections to family, friends, and community, supportive relationships with trusted adults. One trusted adult in a young person's life can make a positive impact on their emotional needs. Research on childhood trauma and experiences has found that a trusted adult can help a young person build resiliency and having access to physical and mental health care. Promoting resilience has been found to reduce the incidence of stress-related disorders among the general population, as well as reducing suicide risk among high-risk individuals. Resilience has been found in reduction of suicide ideation among all populations, including those most vulnerable. Social-emotional learning programs and family relationship programs are found to be highly effective in promoting healthy behavior among teens. Peer programs and community engagement activities can also have a positive impact on mental health for students. A significant key in helping youth build resilience is to help them promote healthy coping skills. Self-help strategies should be tailored to fit the individual's needs to reduce stress. Get to know the youth. Ask questions like, what activities make you happy? What are some things that make you feel safe? Think about the availability and access when helping youth make a list of positive self-help strategies. Keep in mind that knowing the community is beneficial to help youth gain access to those resources. Local and national resources are available to help people who may be experiencing a crisis. The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is a national hotline that is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to those in crisis. The number to call is 1-800-273-8255. 988 has been designated as the new 3-digit dialing code that will route callers to the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. When people call, text, or chat 988, they will be connected to trained counselors that are part of the existing Lifeline network. These trained counselors will listen, understand how their problems are affecting them, provide support, and connect them to resources if necessary. The National Human Trafficking Hotline connects survivors and victims of labor and sex trafficking to resources that can help them find safety. The number is 1-888-373-7888. The Trevor Project is a 24/7 crisis intervention and suicide prevention for LGBTQ+ teens. Text START to 678-678. NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, is an organization whose purpose is to provide mental health support to those in need. Their helpline is available Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern. The phone number is 1-800-950-6264. Or text NAMI to 741-741 for free crisis counseling that is available 24/7. The California Healthy Kids Resource Center is a resource that is available to educators across California. This free lending library is available for educators to utilize within the classroom. Among other subject areas that promote health literacy, there are several curricula to choose from in social-emotional health. Now it's time to test your knowledge. Using your phone or tablet, please scan the QR code to take you to the Google form for assessment. Once you have successfully completed the assessment, you will receive a certificate of completion in the email you provide. Thank you for watching this presentation on stress, trauma, and the adolescent brain.